Here we go. Max, go ahead, Max. Let's get into that. Let's go ahead.
Max,
Snowman, it was an epic battle, my friend.
Yes, it was.
However, I am going to happily take the 6 regular season losses in favor of the one NFC championship victory. But in all
as well, you should.
Friend, in all seriousness, it's a hell of an organization. Obviously, one that's going to undergo some change. Jimmy Garoppolo, obviously Mike McDaniel departing as the offensive coordinator, headed for different sun in Florida. What do you make of the Niners? Obviously, it was a season where it started a little rough, ended with an NFC championship appearance. Maybe a lot of people didn't think they'd get there based on different succession points throughout the year. How would you sum up your 49ers season and potentially where they're going to go from here into 2022?
Well, they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs in the first place. We had to beat the Rams on SoFi soil in overtime, and it took a pickoff in overtime because Matthew Stafford's just all of that and then some. I've always loved Matthew Stafford since his days at Georgia. And it took that pickoff for the 49ers to get into the playoffs in the first place. So I said after then on my show the next day, the 49ers were playing with nothing but house money because look at even including the Rams, look at the opponents that they had to face in their playoff run. And they were underdogs for the final game of the regular season and the 3 playoff games. So when you have underdog status for a game in Dallas, for a game in Green Bay, and a game in Los Angeles, you got nothing to lose. So we're going to lose some coordinators. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be gone, but we got Trey Lance. Raheem Mostert's in a contract year. You already know about Deebo Samuel and the danger that he proposes. Kyle Shanahan figured out a way to use Brandon Ayuk. And there's this fellow by the name of George Kittle who is there also. I am not worried about San Francisco. I mean, they're going into the offseason and into 2022 playing on house money because everybody's going to remember they had no business getting to the playoffs in the first place. And yet beat Dallas on the road, beat Green Bay on the road, played the Rams to 3 points and had the lead, going into the fourth quarter. The Rams made all the plays in the fourth quarter. The 49ers didn't. I said that honestly on my show. But when you're a bunch of underdogs, everyone expects the bubble to burst earlier than when it did for San Francisco. So losing Mike McDaniel, D'Amico Ryans is staying put. Nick Bosa's coming back healthy. And plus we get Javon Kinlaw back on defense. It's just going to depend on what the 49ers do in the draft. But I know this much. Given what's happened, I expect the 49ers to raise a whole bunch of hell in the NFC West next season.
Aaron Rodgers, future quarterback of the 49ers, or what's going to happen there with Jimmy Garoppolo? What do you think?
Hell no. I don't want Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback of my 49ers after what he said some 17 years ago. Not like they're going to be sorry for not drafting me. Hey, Aaron, let me ask you a question. How many Super Bowl wins do you have? Oh, that's right. 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. And on top of that, the 49ers kicked your ass 4 times in the playoffs. Take that.
Right.
Next.
That's one other thing too.
The whole draft capital thing too. I don't think they'll have the first to part with them anyways. But regardless, I think you got a good one in Trey Lance coming, Snowman. It's just going to be, again, just a little bit more time. That's all it needed.
Yeah. Just going to take some more seasoning. That's it.
Yeah. One more on the 49ers, and then let's get into Super Bowl talk. But has Deebo Samuel cemented himself as one of the most dynamic offensive players in the entire league after his performance in the playoffs? And I'm talking like, are we putting him up there with the Christian McCaffreys? Like, is he in that conversation now, legitimately?
He's starting the conversation for a very simple reason. Deebo Samuel can stay on the field. Christian McCaffrey cannot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Max, we were talking about it earlier this week. We saw a trade rumor that he might get traded for 1 draft pick or something like that potentially this offseason. And I mean, that's a trade rumor. It's just a fan rumor. But, like, man, Christian McCaffrey, you'd think I picked him first overall in the fantasy draft this year. And and he's already getting talked about like he's just going to get thrown away in a trade. Like, whoa. Anyways, Debo Samuel.
Wait till you see what the Giants get for Saquon Barkley. It's really going to blow your mind, pal. But
oh my gosh,
you know what? I think when it comes to and sorry, Snowman, not to cut you off there. Debo Samuel, hell of a player, absolutely, and I think he's earned that recognition even just beyond his postseason performance, just the last 2 years of what he's been able to accomplish in San Francisco 49er red, and the way Kyle Shanahan utilizes him. Do you think, and again, this is just to build off Clark's question, because he has that Scordero Patterson type of repertoire of skill set, do you see him potentially being utilized in the exact same way he was this year? Or does he become even more of a hybrid running back, wide receiver, getting the ball nearly every friggin' play?
He's going to become more of a hybrid because the 49ers, the last 3 years, have had the best running game or close to the best running game. Either Baltimore has been better or someone else has been better, but no one is looking bad at the 49er running game, and Debo Samuel is going to be a bigger part of it. The other part is this. I made a comparison on my show, Snowman in the Morning, of Debo Samuel to a very familiar 49er who caught a winning Super Bowl touchdown pass. That name, John Taylor. Because when Taylor came into the league in 1986, how did he get involved in the offense? He was a punt returner. Yep. And Debo Samuel asked to be a punt returner. And I'll say it again. The biggest difference between Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel stays on the field. Debo Samuel is healthy. Debo Samuel is, what's the word I'm looking for? Durable.
And the dude is just an absolute truck stick. If everybody knows what I'm talking about in the video game world on Madden, if you watch Debo Samuel play, if you are not a fan of the 49ers, you are absolutely infuriated at why opposing defenses cannot tackle this man. He gets held up from a play that starts at their own line of scrimmage to whatever it may be, and it seems like he falls forward 9 yards every single friggin' play because the man is
just ask the Green Bay Packers in the fourth quarter. Just ask the Green Bay Packers in the fourth quarter. Okay, absolutely. Third and seven, minute 3 left. You would think the Packer defense can stop the 49ers and hold them to what would have been a 55-yard field goal. Nope. Kyle Shanahan said, the hell with this. Give me Debo Samuel in the backfield. So you get Debo Samuel in the backfield along with Elijah Mitchell. You toss it to Samuel. He gets you 10 yards and a first down, and everybody in Wisconsin was going home early.
I tell you what, it really didn't hurt my feelings when Nick Scott popped him just before the half. That really helped maybe send things in the right direction for the Rams in that fourth quarter. But that is a bad man on the football field. I tell you what there, Brian. You know what? Let's shift gears now to the NBA. And sorry, Clark, for interjecting here, but just to transition the gears, this has been silly season. The NBA seems to have 2 of them every single year, the start of free agency and trade deadline time. What can you tell us about some of the moves that have been made thus far? And I believe what is in advance of this Thursday's trade deadline. Obviously, CJ McCollum.
I'll bring him up here, Max.
Thank you very much, Clark. CJ McCollum going to New Orleans today to team up with Zion. Like, there is just so many different things that are moving so fast in the NBA. It is ridiculously hard to keep up with. But what can you surmise of the last 4, 5, 6 days of the first true silly season of the NBA that we get annually?
Well, Karis LeVert better be glad LeBron's not there because LeBron would have ruined him on sight. Okay? Just ask Kevin Love. CJ McCollum going to Portland? Riddle me this. Why didn't you send Zion Williamson packing while you're at it?
Yeah.
And then Domantas Sabonis from Indiana to Sacramento. How is that going to fix the Kings?
What is going on with that? What's going on with that trade, Brian? Like, that seems like
how are you? I think there's a second move in progress for Sabonis. I believe there's a second move in progress, and I think it will involve my Chicago Bulls. Oh. The Bulls are really injured right now, and yet they're still at the top of the East. So I stick my tongue out at a lot of Nets fans I know. But I think him going to Sacramento, I don't think he'll stay there long.
Interesting. And I know one other team that's kind of in that conversation for a big is the Toronto Raptors. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I know that there's been some talk that they have nobody on the roster, Brian, over 6'9" or 6'10". Like they don't have a big hype, like a traditional big anyway. So they're a very small athletic team that's really tough to match up against and good defensively. But they don't have a ton of big size in case they need it. For a team who has a guy like Vucevic with the Bulls, for example, those types of guys, they can't really match up well against those guys. But either way, there have been some moves, and the NBA is just beginning to heat up, and I'm sure it's nowhere close.
The next 24 hours are going to be stupid.
Brian, your favorite player in the league, James Harden. What's happening going on there?
Max, I will paint your beard redder than it already is. No, I'm kidding. Listen,
I want to see it.
Listen, I talked about the Brooklyn mess ad nauseum on my program. They're a mess.
Tony.
They're a mess. And as far as James Harden goes, I hope he doesn't play again. Get him out of there. Period. Tell him hit the road. I said this last time on your show. You tell James Harden and Kyrie Irving, hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more. Period. This NBA is softer than my granddaughter's pillow. And I usually make the comparison with my daughter's pillow. This NBA is softer than my granddaughter's pillow. Okay? You can barely blow on LeBron James and a foul is called. Kyrie Irving travels half of the time, and yet you're the one getting called for either a foul or Kyrie's getting to the rim, and he's being hailed as, oh my God, he's one of the best finishers in the league. Get out of here with that. Andre Iguodala can finish better at the rim than Kyrie Irving can because Andre Iguodala actually plays basketball. Okay? And as far as Kevin Durant goes, A, he played himself, but B, he had help in Kyrie Irving. I hate seeing this happen to KD. It already happened in Oklahoma City. Hell, it already happened in Seattle. Let's just be totally real about it.
Oh, Seattle.
He's going to be the Seattle Supersonics. Yeah, I cussed on the show, and I'm going to say it again. The Seattle Supersonics.
Bring them back.
I'm wearing the color. They should have never left.
Exactly.
They should have never left. Okay, I can deal with the Sacramento Kings. That happened in 1988, and Kansas City ran out of money. Okay, I can deal with it. 1984, I beg your pardon. Seattle had no problems having the Seattle Supersonics. Okay, and yet Clay Bennett decided to get in bed with the NBA, and next thing you know, they're moving, and I'm sitting there going, "What?"
Yeah.
The thought process comes back to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was drafted by you guessed it, Seattle Supersonics. Should have stayed there. Had he stayed in Seattle, I think his whole career would have been played in Seattle, period. Forget Westbrook, he wouldn't have been drafted. Forget Harden, he wouldn't have been drafted. Had the roster not been gutted in Seattle by Clay Bennett, he would have stayed in Seattle. He would have stayed in what was the Seattle Center Coliseum. But now that he's in Brooklyn, he's going to be shouldering the load for the Brooklyn mess again. And if Giannis Antetokounmpo didn't show anything, he'll show it again. You can't win the playoffs with just one player. Hell, the Chicago Bulls had to find that out the hard way for 8 years or for 7 years.
Yeah. Well, Brian, let's touch on the Bulls, and then we'll get back into football for a minute here. Maybe even a little bit of MLB Lockout. I'd love to hear your take on that really quick. But the Bulls.
All right, here's my take on the MLB Lockout.
Give me it.
Will y'all figure it out already so we can get back to baseball? Will y'all figure it out already? I mean, look, billions of dollars being exchanged between players and owners. Owners locking the players out because they're greedy. Players wanting in so they can be greedy. You know what we should do? Take representatives from both sides. You stick them in a room with no windows. Okay? And the one who breaks first is the one whose the winner's demands will be honored. That's how you fix baseball. Let's go on.
I'll suggest that to our boy Ross Stripling because he's on the Union, so he'll tell you.
And knowing Ross, he won't. I've seen some interviews with Ross. Great guy. I know he won't take that, but it's just the baseball fan in me.
There's somebody that will take that.
There's our hearts in this and our minds, Brian, and our hearts are coming to the forefront the closer that's the season gets. It's closer that the potential season gets.
I want baseball, doggone it. I want baseball, period.
Well, especially
baseball. Who's this? Fatherhood Confessions. Baseball needs to happen, period. It's the first sport I ever grew up with. 3 generations of White Sox fans. Me, my pops, God rest his soul, and my grandpa, God rest his soul. Okay? 3 generations of White Sox fans. I'm a baseball rat. All right. I listen to broadcasts. I listen to one of my favorites. You all will know him, Jerry Howarth, longtime voice of the Toronto Blue Jays. I borrowed his call on a couple of calls of mine when I was covering Lewisburg College. So let's just get back to baseball, will you please? There you go.
There we go. Let's put Brian on the Union because I think he would get this stuff done really fast. So, Brian, one more thought on the Bulls. I want to get your thought here. We know him well, DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, huge fan favorite with the Raptors for years. He's went to San Antonio, developed his game a little bit, and now he is absolutely rocking it with the Bulls. How huge is him back being with the Bulls, and do they have the chance this year to do it? Can they do it this year? I mean, it sure looks like they can.
They absolutely can. And DeMar DeRozan is a 2-tiered star. Of course, as you mentioned, he was drafted by Toronto. Then he went to San Antonio, refined his game, and now he's just showing off in Chicago. But I think a lot of that has to do with Billy Donovan using all the pieces that he can. And remember, the Bulls are still shorthanded. I don't think they've played a game this year where they've had all of their pieces. They're minus Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and yet they're still hanging toward the top of the Eastern Conference with Miami. If I had to pick an Eastern Conference final, and a lot of Sixer fans are going to be upset with me because I finally relented on Joel Embiid. I'm sorry. My East Finals goes Miami and Chicago. It's just going to depend on who has the better record.
Oh, man, that would be dynamic.
That's a healthy prediction, Brian. I don't no need to be sorry about it. It's certainly looking like it could shape up that way. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I love Milwaukee and Giannis, and they're the defending world champions, and they're still in the hunt, and they're the champs until somebody knocks them off. But one of those 2 teams, either Miami or Chicago, just could knock them off.
For sure. Okay, so back to the gridiron. Let's get your take on the game because I know we talked about a lot of 49ers and all the stuff. I already got like 30 questions about off-season stuff for you that we can maybe talk about afterward. But the game itself, we gotta tunnel vision ourselves here. Rams, Bengals. I mean, it's so huge for the Bengals, Brian, that they're here. It's been such a long road for them. The Rams, it seems like a team of destiny. They were built for this, as Max has said several times. They've added players throughout the year to get even better. Stafford's storyline, obviously. What did you think of this game coming up here on Sunday? What are you looking forward to most?
First and foremost, I'll say if I'm wrong about this game, then I have no problem saying I'm wrong. But I'm sorry. I got to go with Cincinnati. I got to go with the underdog.
Oh, cut him off. Cut to air. Cut to the commercial. Where'd it go? Oh, snowman. Oh, sorry. Continue, my friend. Jeez.
It's going to be – I would not be surprised if this is the second overtime game in Super Bowl history. It really could go either way. With Stafford and Burrow putting up numbers all over the place. Cincinnati's defense figuring out Patrick Mahomes and basically just figuring it out after the offensive line of Cincinnati got pummeled in Tennessee, and yet they still walked off. In fact, I think Cincinnati's the first team ever with 2 playoff walk-offs, 2 playoff overtime walk-offs. But my official pick is Cincinnati, but I'm taking the points. And I'm taking the money line. It's going to be razor thin. And I know this is an old adage, but it's true when you're thinking about Stafford and Burrow. Stafford, 13 years, finally in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow in his second season, the young gun gets it right and has weapons all over the place, just like the Rams do. The last quarterback to have the ball wins the game.
I like that. That's a very, very succinct.
The last quarterback to have the ball will win the game.
So, Brian, I only have about 6 problems with everything you just said. No, I'm just kidding, my friend. In all seriousness, there is some serious respect, I guess, deserve to be given to these Cincinnati Bengals, right? You look at Joe Burrow, and he's really only played a year and a quarter in this league.
A year and a quarter, yeah.
And just has found a way. And this is where, again, might be very early to say this, but he just kind of has that Tom Brady-ness to him where it's like, you know what, whatever way the game's flowing, I'm going to find a way to keep us in it. And ultimately at the end of the game, we're going to have a chance to win. That's, again, very, very early praise maybe to give him at this stage of his career, but he just kind of seems to have that knack. And then Cincinnati's also proving that, you know what, maybe it's a good thing to draft a kicker sometimes. As Evan McPherson, the new money Mac, forget Conor McGregor. Who's that guy? We're talking about Evan McPherson, friggin' ice in his veins every time he goes out to have a big game-winning kick, and there'll certainly be no bigger opportunity on the stage this Sunday. But yeah, it's all respect to Cincy. Of course, I'm saying this all for karma points. The Rams are going to win by 30. We all know this, but in the spirit of good competition,
the Rams are going to score. The Rams are going to score 30. I think the Rams and Bengals are each going to score 30. If you're thinking over,
take
folks,
the over. Okay.
If you put take the over. I will say take the over. I will say take the over. As far as Burrow goes, a lot of people are saying pump the brakes a little bit. You can't compare Joe Burrow to Tom Brady. Well, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Tom Brady went out on the Super Bowl stage in New Orleans, Louisiana, and was told by Drew Bledsoe to sling it and get us a win. Mm-hmm. That's what Tom Brady did, and that's what Tom Brady did for 22 years. Who's to say Joe Burrow won't end up the same way? The game I look at in the playoffs is the game against Tennessee. He got clobbered. Sacked 9 times in that game. Forget the game against the Raiders. Okay, that was a warm-up. That was absolutely warm-up, and the Cincinnati defense with 65,000 people yelling in the Raiders' ears, we're going to win that game. The game against Tennessee, first playoff game on the road against the number 1 seeded Titans, who a lot of us said were the softest number 1 seed, and we saw why. But still, number 1 seed is the number 1 seed. Look at that game. The offensive line couldn't block worth anything, and that's nothing against Cincinnati. That's Tennessee's defense saying, we see a young lion, and we're going to come after him. Joe Burrow got knocked down 9 times, got up 10 times, and the 10th time led him to the game-winning field goal as time expired in regulation. I incorrectly said overtime. It led him to the game-winning field goal as time expired in regulation. Okay, who wouldn't get confidence going into Kansas City with that kind of finish? And everybody said, oh, you got to go up against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs played themselves. If you take the field goal and you go and you have 24 points on the board instead of just 21, then you got a little bit of mojo going into the second half because you would have scored on all of your possessions in the first half. No, Patrick Mahomes decided to gamble. Cincinnati licked their chops and took advantage. And in the second half of that game, they harassed the daylights out of Mahomes. The only points that the Chiefs got were at the end of regulation to tie the game at 24. And then 27. And then they get the winning points. And it's 27-24. That's it. All Joe Burrow has to have is one opportunity. And if he's the last quarterback to possess the ball in regulation or overtime this Sunday in the Super Bowl, I think he will deliver.
So, Snowman, I got one more for you before we wrap it up for the evening. And again, this maybe speaks to, again, the game this weekend. So we talked about the Titans and obviously how formidable their defense was. Obviously, Justin Simmons. Everybody in Cincinnati Blue had a chance to get a licking on Joe Burrow in that game.
Yep.
I want to know how much stock you put in. Again, this is where, again, obviously the Rams defensive line poses a lot of problems, especially for this, let's call it league average offensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you think that just the sheer athleticism of guys like Von Miller, a Super Bowl MVP, Aaron Donald, arguably the best defensive tackle of all time, they might not get to him 9 times, but they might get to him 6 and force a couple of strip sacks just strictly on their athleticism alone. Do you think that maybe plays a bigger role than the whole 9 sacks from a Tennessee defense that locked him up, shut him down, whatever you want to call it? Didn't really shut him down. But do you think that athleticism on the Rams defensive side of the ball with a couple of generational players could be the difference in Burrow maybe turning the ball over a few more times in this game?
No. Here's why. Against Tennessee, they came after him. They clobbered him. They stripped him a couple of times in the Tennessee game. Here's the difference. Joe Burrow learned from that game. And you best believe the Chiefs came after Joe Burrow saying, okay, if Tennessee can get to you, we can too. Only Joe Burrow said, oh yeah, watch this, and relied on one of my X factors for this game. His name is Joe Mixon. If Mixon can poke some holes in that Ram defense, you got a fight on your hands, my friend.
I like it. Brian, my friend, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
One more,
you got one more, Clark.
Oh, there's one more? Clark says one more.
It's 2 words. It's 2 words. I'll add to it, but it is 2 words. And I'm just trying to find the comment. I had it, and then I lost it because I was looking at some of the newer comments. Because Brian just
way to stay organized, my friend. Good stuff.
Comment because it's amazing. Okay, here it is. Sheridan Davis. He wanted us to talk about this. I don't know if you've seen it. I hope you have, Brian. Kyler Murray. Have you seen the drama around Kyler Murray erasing the Arizona Cardinals from his life? What do you take of this? If you've seen it, I hope you have. I'm sure you have. What do you take of this? And what does it mean for Kyler Murray? Is he going to head to the Oakland Athletics?
A tease for tomorrow at 8 a.m. on Snowman in the Morning. Yep.
Ooh,
I think Kyler Murray is done with football. I think Kyler Murray is done with the Arizona Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray has figured out that the longest money you can have for an athletic career is in, say it with me, gentlemen, baseball.
Baseball. Darts. Oh, baseball. Yeah.
Major league signing bonuses for first-round picks, 8th overall.
Yeah.
Let's hope they get that CBA figured out first.
Right. Yeah.
They better figure it out. I want some baseball, doggone it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. So, Brian, yes, that'll do it for tonight. Dude, you lit up the screen tonight. Thank you so much. I guess, Brian, somebody asked earlier, and I lost the comment, but how are you doing? Here it is. Adam Schultz. How is Snowman feeling? Because I know you had some health battles. Do you have an update? What's going on with that?
Well, Adam and everybody, here's your story. I still have pancreatic cancer, but the difference is I got this 2-foot smile on my face because now I have a lot more nerve. There's a very pretty lady that has supported me during the entire ride, and she's been nothing but wonderful to me. And she told me one day flat out, I think you're giving up. And this was right after I got my diagnosis. So since then, I've made a choice to get better. I have an appointment tomorrow after I'm off the air to meet my new oncologist here in Indiana. And we're going to get some photographs taken. We're going to get some x-rays done, and we're going to push the plunger moving forward. And I need a favor from all my homies up in Canada. I'm going to send Clark my my PayPal. I sent him my my YouTube earlier. Anyway, can I say my PayPal address here?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Folks, we still need your help. We are still in need. We are still in needing of your help. We are all here for you. Thank you. John Ohm says we are here for you. I wish I had Rod Peterson's gong so I can go like he does when John rings in. But I will make a donation on payday. Katie Fleury says, go to paypal.com. Change that. I'm sorry. PayPal.me/snowman2172. That's paypal.me/snowman2172. I'll make sure I get it to Clark right after we get off of here so he can tweet it out to everybody and send it out to everybody. But we still need your help, folks. We still need it, and we appreciate it. Oh, there it is. Yes, PayPal. That's it. PayPal.me/snowman2172. That's where you can make your donations either for my radio show or for my fight against cancer. And this summer, I will have kicked cancer in the ass, and I will celebrate my 50th birthday. And I hope there's a SquadCast episode that night so I can celebrate my 50th birthday with you guys. Because I know I'm awesome. I'm going to celebrate that entire day with my wife and my children and my grandchildren. But we need your help, folks. Anything you can contribute to help the cause would be great. I know I got a lot of friends up in Canada now, courtesy of RP. So man, prayers for you, buddy, from the great city of London, Canada. Thank you.
Yeah, Joe Booney,
thank you.
Great dude. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
You got hearts.
Carlos will be.
There you go.
Oh, thank you all. This is not just for me. This is for my wife. This is for my children, and this is for my grandchildren, because I want to be around for them.
Yes.
I want to be around for them. And this mass in my belly has to get out. So any kind of donations y'all can make that will help us keep our bills paid and help us stay afloat until I get this thing removed, and it will be removed. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I will be.
Take your time.
I and my family will be. I'm sorry. We'll be eternally grateful. We had some people help before, but then we went through some things, and I'm sorry, guys.
No need to apologize whatsoever, Snowman. We greatly appreciate your friendship, and we sincerely wish you the best in your battles as you continue this journey, and wishing you and your family nothing but the best. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your insights. We appreciate it all, my friend. All the best in health and happiness to you as your journey continues forward.
I appreciate you guys. And let's have a great Super Bowl on Sunday.
Absolutely,
so we can all smile. Let's have a great Super Bowl on Sunday.
Well, that means the Rams are winning, right, Snowman? That's the only way we can all smile here. So we got this game going one way.
Wait a minute. For my Super Bowl, I'm going to have food. I'm going to have a little drink. I'm going to have my wife, and I'm going to have my in-laws, and I'm going to have my kids. I'm going to have a happy Super Bowl. It's going to be a great. I will say it's going to be a fabulous game. I'm really thinking it's going to be a fabulous game between these two. And for Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow, sick them, both of them. Go get them. Let's go get them.
Have Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Eminem and Mary J. Blige and Kendrick Lamar.
It's going to be one hell of a halftime show. It'll be great.
I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, Brian, we'll let you go. We put your PayPal in the comments. Everybody's sending all the love and support, and so are we. And we will chat again soon, because we got to talk baseball. We got to talk those bloomin' White Sox. We got to talk about our White Sox Blue Jays rivalry. So we will be getting you back on soon, buddy.
See, we got to play 9 times in the regular season just to see who would host the ALCS. It's either going to be Chicago or Toronto.
Love it.
And besides, it'll be memories for me back to 1993 when it was Chicago and Toronto in the American League Championship Series. When you had fellas like Juan Canadian Guzman, the Big Hurt Frank Thomas, when you had studs like the Devon White, and of course, Touch 'em all Joe. Tom Cheek, that's for Tom Cheek. Touch 'em all Joe. One of my favorite baseball calls ever.
Absolutely. It is. It's legendary. It's legendary.
Yeah,
all right,
it is.
Brian, we'll let you go. Have a great night, my friend.
Thank you.